FM. We're also streaming from that SuperTalk Mississippi app and your local SuperTalk Mississippi radio station. But don't forget to watch us, too, on your computer or your mobile device. Just head on over to SuperTalk TV. And don't forget our SuperTalk Mississippi news team is bringing you the news to you wherever you are. Of course, you can catch them on nearly 50 stations across the state, but you can now find them on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You can just go to supertalk.fm/news on the go to keep up with what's going on across the state. And it's Monday, which means we got some good headlines to share with you. And Caleb is joining us to give us a break.
And that's exactly right, Rebecca. I will say, Rhino, I don't think 9 to 5 is the best song for what we do because we're working around the clock.
I know. I like the meme that says, I wish Dolly sang 10 to 2.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, Dolly needs to make one called Round the Clock for us because we are working, Rebecca. But, amid all the chaos, everybody knows what's coming up on tomorrow. And then even with the football and sports nuts, what's happening this weekend. And amid all of that, we've got some really, really good headlines, really good stories that we're covering. And one of them I'll lead with is in Tupelo, a really cool story that actually I saw on your Facebook, which put me on this story, and is a record-breaking okra plant.
I love it.
It's awesome, right? And how fitting that happens in Mississippi, where one of our university's mascot is an okra. Mm-hmm. And I'll get to that in just a second. But Waylon and Tanya Michael, that's the couple who grew this plant. I believe in March is when they started. I'm not a planter. I have the brownest of brown thumbs, so I could not explain how all this works. I know these people are wondering if they have magic in their soil as well, but fast forwarding to about a week or so ago, that plant has reached 17 feet in height,
insane.
Which is a world record. The previous world record that was set and recorded by Guinness was 16 feet and 4 inches, which is still pretty dadgum tall, and that was into the New Orleans area. Well, funny thing is, I feel really bad. There's a couple in Mobile, Alabama, who thinks that they have broken a world record too, and they have a 16-foot, 10-inch okra plant. But I think they're just being surpassed by the Mississippi one, and they are planning to get certified and have this instilled as an actual world record.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
I didn't either.
I mean, I know we've had here on Good Things from Water Valley, Mississippi, watermelon grower out there that's breaking all kinds of records. You hear of other things like that, pumpkins, but okra's not one that I ever thought of. So I guess if you just have a plant that takes off and you're like, this is odd, you should Google it.
Absolutely.
To see if there's some kind of record to break. Yeah, with that.
And one thing I really should have conducted more thorough research, because I really don't know what the average height for an okra plant is. I mean, do they get up?
Not 16 feet.
Well, I figured. I mean, they're probably like 4 or 5, maybe 6 feet, but 17 feet's a little bit excessive, but it's really cool. And to add to the coolness of it, Rebecca, is Delta State's mascot, their beloved okra, which has been featured on SportsCenter, which has been featured in all sorts of commercials nationally on ESPN. People that don't live in Mississippi, that know nothing about Division II sports, know the Delta State mascot because of how cool it is, right? Well, it went and paid visit to its cousin.
Who's taller than him.
Its cousin that might be getting an NBA contract sometime soon. But yeah, it played, and they posted a video, I believe, yesterday on Facebook, too, like a little promotional video. So y'all can go to our website, supertalk.fm, to read more about the record-breaking okra, the family that's grown it and everything. And then go to Delta State. Also support Delta State in general. That's a university that deserves our support. But look at what they've posted on Facebook. It's pretty cool with the okra, seeing the mascot okra, seeing the actual okra. And we did reach out to the mascot for comment. Unfortunately, mascot is sworn into silence, and so we didn't get a comment from the mascot.
So another fun video, but the average okra plant is 6 to 8 feet, so it's about twice that. Rhino did his
Thanks, Rhino.
trusty Googling back there for us, but they had the okra there at Delta State. They do the best social media by utilizing their mascot. Other universities could take note, but you can find it too. I think I may have shared it in our Good Things Facebook group, where during the Halloween season, they would have him hiding in places, and as athletes or students came around bends, he would jump out and scare and do the whole scare tactic. So, I mean, just a lot of fun.
Well, I know Delta State was hosting last semester, one of the local area schools. I can't remember the name of the elementary school that had some sort of incident entailing a fire, an explosion, and they had. Yep. And I remember you had the president of Delta State and the superintendent of that school district. I don't know why it's not coming to my head. I wrote about this extensively, but and I remember they used the mascot when the kids got to the campus for the first day. I'm sure a lot of them were nervous. It's a new school, new facilities. They're going to be around big kids, all the college students, but they had both of the Delta State mascots, high-fiving them and cheering them on. And I'll admit, Rebecca, I'm a little bit of an emotional guy. I had a little tear running down my eye. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. You know, if I had something like that when I was a kid, I'd be like, yeah.
Hayes Cooper
awesome.
Elementary.
Hayes Cooper, thank you. I couldn't think of the name off the top of my head, but I remember. And that was such a cool thing to see those children getting off the bus and just being met by the football team and the mascots. I mean, some might have been terrified by a big okra walking in their direction, but others were, high-fiving, excited. Rebecca, we had another really cool story with Biloxi native Dean Jones is on The Voice, season 26 of The Voice, and he almost got booted last week, but he managed to survive the battle rounds. He was not chosen by his coach, his initial coach, Reba McEntire. He did his battle round against Danny Joseph, who got the coveted 4 chair turn in the blind round. So this guy's like top notch in The Voice. But our guy from Biloxi, Dean, he was kept alive by Gwen Stefani. We can thank Blake Shelton and Gwen Stefani for keeping him alive. But he's now joining Team Gwen, and he's going to stay alive in the competition, and we'll get to hear more from him. But if y'all haven't gone and checked this out, we have a story. JT Mitchell, our news director, and my fearless boss wrote this last week about Dean. The video, though, it's embedded in the article. Y'all got to watch this. Those two guys singing It's a Man's World by James Brown. Just the contrast in voices, but how soulful and beautiful it was. And I know Reba had a really hard time choosing between one or the other, but they were both fantastic. So if y'all get a chance, go check out that video. The guy is fantastic.
That starts, I think that airs tonight.
Tonight and tomorrow night,
tonight
7.
And tomorrow night. And then over the weekend, one of our cake decorators from the Mississippi Delta, the Cake Goat.
That's right.
I can't. Davis is his last name. But he was on Food Network's Halloween Wars again. And so, man, if you haven't seen his work, it's insane.
Awesome. Look at Mississippi just showing out for good reasons. Finally, we need our people doing good things, and they're doing it right now. And Rebecca, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention this too. This Friday, although Veterans Day is going to be Monday, on Friday, the 2 Mississippi museums here in Jackson will be holding a Veterans Day ceremony honoring our active current veterans, and then those are fallen heroes too. The 41st Army Band, which is fantastic, by the way. If y'all haven't heard them, y'all should check them out on social media. Ben, JT, and I were graced to hear them at the Mississippi State Fair earlier this year. Fantastic. They'll be performing. The Major General of the Mississippi National Guard will be speaking, and they'll be doing a wreath-laying ceremony, and really, really cool. We get caught up in the political nonsense, all the sports, everything going on in Mississippi. We kind of forget, the people who have made our freedom, who've made it a reality, right? The people who serve and, have laid down their lives or have sacrificed time, effort, blood, sweat, and tears to making sure that we have the freedoms that me and you were able to come on a radio show and talk, that we're able to do things that we do that people in other countries don't have the privilege of doing.
One of the highlights of this past year is they started a 9/11 memorial run at Camp Shelby for cross-country teams, high school teams. And the weather was bad on 9/11. It was the hurricane, but they moved it. But anyway, and it was the kids, I think. It was so important for them to get to come to Camp Shelby, get greeted by all the generals and all the important, people and see the Camp Shelby, go to the museum there. And it's a tradition I hope they keep going with better weather.
Yeah. Well, that's Mississippi, though. The weather is always going to be unpredictable, but it's true. And then, you see a sense of, people aren't necessarily younger people as we get lower and lower in the generations aren't really understanding the value and importance. You see kind of patriotism. I know that's become a buzzword, but you know what I mean by in this context is kind of declining. And it's really important for these young people and children to see the sacrifices that are actually made, not only just overseas, but here in our own country, and what these people do to ensure that we have our freedoms maintained.
It's one thing that continues to unite us, at least for now.
Right, yeah, for right now. And one thing, too, I know we got the Sports Talk guys coming after this show, but Ole Miss quarterback Jackson Dart was named the National Player of the Week. He had a record-breaking performance he was awesome on Saturday. Something that Ole Miss was looking to see out of him, because since conference play had started, he'd been a little bit shaky. The offensive line had been bad, too, but he had only thrown 3 touchdowns in the few conference games they've had. Well, he threw 6. He doubled that on Saturday against Arkansas and paired that with 515 yards in the air. Yeah, he was good. And Ole Miss had not won in Arkansas since 2008. So it was kind of a get the monkey off of their back game, and they did it, by 32 points. I mean, just bludgeoned the Razorbacks, something that they kind of needed to do to get that just all right, we haven't done this in a long time. We kind of need to do this, and it was a defining win because they stay alive in their hopes of making the college football playoff for the first time ever. But a bunch of other Ole Miss players, 3 others got weekly honors from the conference, from the SEC, and I wrote about that earlier on SuperTalk.fm, so y'all can check that out.
So where do we go for the good news, Caleb?
SuperTalk.fm/lifestyle.
All right, well, we appreciate your time here, but you guys stick with us. We got more for you coming up next.